You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, B&B fans. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and I've got an update for you on a rivalry at Forrester Creations that could bring us some echoes of the past when other Forresters have gone to war. We're going to dig into all of that, but if you haven't already, please reach down and click subscribe so you don't miss any of our bold and beautiful updates, spoilers, and news. So today we're going to talk about RJ Forrester and Zende Forrester. These guys are cousins, but things are about to turn into a civil war instead of things remaining civil between these family members. On Monday's episode, Zende stood outside the design office, eavesdropping on RJ and Luna. And you saw he smirked when he heard them swapping I love yous. And of course, they've known each other 2.5 minutes. And then Zende went to the office to talk about what's going on with Eric. And a big argument ensued. The thing is, I am totally team Zende on this when it comes to RJ's father, Ridge Forrester, and the way he's behaving over Eric Forrester's fate and medical decisions. As the young men bickered, back over at the hospital, Ridge was lamenting that his dad was on life support. He essentially said that it'd be better if his father died than living in a coma. It's too early to say that personally. Here's what really bothers me about Ridge's attitude. This is a sideline, and then I'm going to get right back to RJ versus Zende. Ridge knows about fabric and pleats, but he's not a doctor and he's clueless about this medical stuff. And his dad didn't even involve him in any of everything. You know, Eric never did tell him. Ridge only knows, and he only knows half of what, and he doesn't know what Eric's mindset was before he collapsed and went into this coma. So just from a purely personal perspective, Eric being in that coma isn't a bad thing necessarily. I've shared with you guys that my mom had cancer. She survived stomach cancer. And some of what I'm seeing on B&B, I went through. My mom had late diagnosed stage 3 cancer, and it was moving very aggressively. So they had to treat it aggressively. They gave her what they told me was the strongest dose of chemo they had. Within 2 hours, she was coding. I was in the room, trapped in the corner. They brought in the crash cart, everything. It was terrifying. But they stabilized her and put her into an induced coma. And the doctor told me this can happen with cancer patients, which Eric is a cancer patient, and that them being in a coma with a machine breathing for them lets the body focus on healing and accepting the chemo or whatever, like with Eric, immunotherapy, that kind of treatment they're doing, because the machines are taking care of the essential functions to keep you alive, so then your body can solely focus on getting better. And I feel like this is what we're seeing with Eric. A couple of days later, my mom came out of it and her body was responding well to the chemo. She's been cancer-free for like 10 years now. So I still remain in the camp that I think Eric is going to survive this, but I do think Ridge might try and unplug him again. We'll see. So, all right, back to the core argument over at Forrester Creations. Zende thinks Ridge is being a total tool, and I agree. Zende's mad that Ridge didn't want Eric to have the experimental treatment that could save his life. And of course, RJ's defending his dad, and then Luna chimes in and says Eric wouldn't want them arguing. But Zende thinks Ridge isn't showing any heart or any consideration. And I think he isn't, especially because he's ignoring the opinion of the other kids. He hasn't invited his siblings up. It's just insane. RJ's angrier as Zende keeps on talking to him. And towards the tail end of their scenes on Monday came what's going to be a pivotal moment in coming days that I believe will send Zende spiraling out and into a scenario where he is full on scheming to take down RJ. Zende was saying that he wished Eric's collection was finished and could go live as a tribute to him. Meanwhile, in the CEO office, Ridge showed up and RJ and Brooke were there, and they talked about the exact same thing, basically. Ridge wants to finish his dad's line, and he wants RJ at his side while doing it. He thinks that RJ is the perfect person because he was working so closely with Eric on it. And at the same time that this scene's happening, if you watched, Zende was telling Luna that he wants to finish Eric's collection. That leads into these really hot spoilers for Tuesday and Wednesday on Bold. So on Tuesday, RJ officially gets a new position at Forrester Creations. I mean, he really didn't have one before, right? So I wonder if they're going to give him something with an insane title like lead designer or co-lead designer alongside Ridge. And Zende, according to official spoilers, is completely gobsmacked when he hears about RJ's promotion. As Zende reminded RJ and the viewers recently, Ridge Jr. has zero experience in the fashion industry. He doesn't know what box pleats are. He doesn't know what fabrics are. He knows nothing about designing. As far as we saw on the show, he was basically the robot assistant arm sketching what Eric told him to. He wasn't designing on his own. He was just doing what Eric told him to draw, like a sketch artist at the police station. And to me, what's funny about it is that just the other day, Luna said to RJ in this swoony, simpering voice, "You've taught me so much about fashion." OMG. Really? Luna is a design student. She absolutely should know more about fashion than RJ. Unless she's skipping classes and has a 1.5 GPA, she should know a hell of a lot more about fashion than her musclehead boyfriend. The writing on this is so bad to me, and I just wonder if RJ and Luna are supposed to be the new Ridge, the new dose of destiny that we now have to live with. It is so frustrating, honestly. I feel like some mornings I want to fling my coffee at my TV. Okay, so official spoilers then for Wednesday say Zende has a moment of clarity and tells Luna what he realized, and I think it's going to be something like, "I will always be in RJ's shadow because of who his parents are." And I think that's true. And the way Brooke and Ridge talk about RJ, you would think he walked on water to get back to LA instead of taking a first-class flight. They've called him the anointed one, literally comparing him to Jesus with some of the words the writers have chosen. It's so offensive. So I suspect Zende is going to try and ruin RJ's life. And I'll tell you guys, I am totally here for it. Ridge sidelined Zende, was very insulting by not telling him that his granddad was dying until Ridge had made sure to tell all the non-relatives like Carter and Katie and Hope. I mean, I'm sure he told Charlie, Pam was at least family. I mean, those people are not Forresters. Neither is Brooke. She's not married to Ridge or his father right now. So why weren't the Forresters the first to know? So I think Zende is definitely at the end of his rope, and who can blame him? I suspect Zende might take aim both personally and professionally to destroy RJ. So that means luring Luna away from RJ and then sabotaging RJ on the job. If this gets really out of hand, like it did with Rick Forrester's rivalry with Thomas Forrester way back in the day, remember there were car and house fires, it actually could be epic. I am very excited that Delon de Metz is finally getting some new material because he's a great actor, but they haven't done a lot with Zende. So I will say this, I hold out no hope that Zende will win in the end, because as we know, the Logans always win so long as Brad Bell is writing the soap opera and RJ is a Logan also. So I'm still excited about the ruckus that Zende's about to kick up though. Let me know if you're excited too about this, and please click subscribe if you haven't already, and head back to Soap Dirt to talk bold and beautiful every single day. We're talking soap 7 days a week, and as always, this is Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.